this guy, who, he's got his little Yorkshire Terrier there. I'm calling him the Vintner Engineer. And if you've learned some vocabulary words here, Vintner. Anybody know what that means? Ready to show of hands? Bueller. Vintner means he's a winemaker. And that's what he's got there is his vineyards, where he's making wine. And he said he's making the wine so he can store it as a bartering commodity in SHTF, which, considering it doesn't really go bad, it only gets, if you bottle it right, it only gets more valuable. It's not the worst plan in the world. It's a pretty decent little bartering plan. He's also got a shipping container. The difference to me between him and the biker people, the ex-bikers, is that it's not really his plan to bug out into his shipping container. His shipping container is there to keep his products, to keep his produce from his wine, to keep it concealed, which he did a good job concealing it, and to keep it cool. It's not an emergency bug out location. Instead, he's got a plan to defend his property with some of these weapons, which appear to me to be bolt-action rifles and maybe a shotgun at the top, which are good to have. That might be a 22 in the middle. Those two bottom ones look like bolt-action to me. And he's making some bombs to pre-position and then he had a little intricate sand diagram with Lego characters where he was going to flush people into the cover and then he was going to blow up the cover. Which, that's a good plan if 3 to 4 people are invading you, or even maybe a group of 5 to 10. Of course, the second wave may not do that, but no plan if you're defending the property with 1 to 2 people or less. You're going to have trouble against any massive waves of people, no matter who you are. I mean, I don't care if you're John Rambo. You're going to have problems, So I thought for defending that property, that's not the worst plan in the world. Now, he didn't appear to have a bug out plan, but he had some other. He seemed to be a very creative guy, and he called himself Mr. Wayne because he wanted to protect his identity. But he seemed to be fairly sophisticated. He had some good makeshift type of devices. He was also making his own bullets, at least. The show said he had an unlimited supply of ammunition. I don't think that's correct because, he was making bullets. I'll give him credit for that, but he wasn't making the shells. The shells may hold up 2 to 3 times, reloading, but eventually you're going to run out of those shells. So, but it's fine. It's good to know how to reload. That's a good skill, and a good skill to know how to make bullets. I don't know how to do that, so I saw kind of what he was doing, but it's a good skill. So overall I liked him. I liked his attitude. I liked his outlook. I liked his adaptability. I liked his ingenuity. I think he's going to be a good prepper in a lot of situations. So I was a fan of Mr. Wayne, who I'm calling the Vintner Engineer. I liked him quite a bit. That brings me to the big board. The big board, again, we'll start off with the bottom. Food Hoarding Lady, or Betty Spaghetti, is at the bottom. Birdflu Sales Lady from last episode. Then the MPPITW, or the most prepared person in the world. I'm sorry, again, I did not like him. I don't like his plan. Again, comparing him with the person below him, who was Party Cat Chick. Party Cat Chick has not spent $100,000 on preps. But her plan is also not to go into some unfinished basement with nothing in it. And her plan is not to drag a bunch of kids in there. Her plan doesn't involve no guns. Her plan doesn't involve making his wife hysterical. Well, she doesn't have a wife, but her boyfriend hysterical, which apparently MPPITW does. It doesn't involve ruining herself financially. So I just don't like MPPITW's plans or his preparedness skills. So yeah, I even like Soda Botanist better than MPPITW because at least Soda Botanist has some skills. You know, he has some abilities to care for himself, which MPPITW does not appear to have. They're not panning for gold in the Ohio River with a dish. You know, I mean, he didn't have a sieve to get gold out of. I mean, give me a break. All right, so Dungeon Master of Seeds, Leftover Cold War Professor. This guy with the school buses. Some more people. Whoops, excuse me. Drank too close there. Birdflu Shrink, Old Comedian, Blade the Fireman. So we're going pretty far down here. You know, there's a pretty good chunk of people here who I'm passing to get to the Ex-Biker Valentines. So I'm not putting them at the top of the list, but I'm not putting them at the bottom. They're right in the middle. And you know, I think it's where they belong. They got guns. They got pretty good food preps, pretty good food stores. And then they got a crap bug-out plan. I think they wasted their space on where to put that shipping container. I think that's a waste of money, the way they've used it. But, you know, not the worst thing in the world. So, you know, again, they got room to improve, but that's where I'm putting them. And then going down to the more people here, down to where I put the Vintner Engineer at number 6. That's pretty high. I put him ahead of Mountain Welder. Again, Mountain Welder has a bug-out plan. It's a pretty good bug-out location, but he did not have any guns. He didn't have any real plan about securing that other than getting in his bug-out. Vintner Engineers seem to have a little bit more know-how, too, about how to get some things engineered, some things, makeshift things put together to help him. Then again, I put him, you know, worse than Patriarch and Kids because he's pretty much in it by himself, perhaps with his buddy, compared to the Patriarch and Kids who have a whole system. And Spider-Hole Man who's got an extensive bug-out plan with his little ranger group, although it is a little scary to me. Everybody else stays where they're at. So, Vintner Engineer, I really debated on him, so I could have put him a little worse. I just thought he had a better, more realistic plan than the people above him. Chunky Lady and Hubby, remember, they got good preps, but they don't have a bug-out plan. Dawgfighter Dad has preps, weird bug-out plan, you know, that kind of thing. Mountain Welder, no guns. So I'll give him credit on that. Alright, so this is Western Kansas Prepper signing off on Doomsday Preppers episode 11. Let me know what you think about my rankings and if I'm crazy or not.